What's up, everybody? I finally got myself a camera so I can take some footage and share it on YouTube, and which I'm kind of excited about. So first and foremost, I just wanted to show everybody a portion of my collection. This portion actually lives in our pantry. We live in a three-family house, so we got the second floor, so we don't have a bunch of space. So the pantry is kind of where this is. So as you can see down here, yeah, and then up here is pretty high ceiling, so everything's up on the shelf. So Marvel Legends is something I've been collecting actually since the Spider-Man Classics line. At that point, when those were released, I remember thinking those were probably the best Marvel action figures ever, because before that we were looking at that. Very little articulation, not a lot of detail, but still, you know, that was where it was at in terms of where Toy Biz or Marvel was at with their action figures at that time. So when Marvels were released, it was definitely it was exciting. It was cool. So these are the ones that I have carded. I think pretty much everything else is opened up for the Legends line anyway, and most of these will be opened up eventually. Star Wars is probably, man, I saw Return of the Jedi in the movie theater in the early 80s, so that definitely was huge for me. And then collected when I was a youngster, and then when the Power of the Force line, I think it was in '95, started releasing the figures, I had a big portion of the collection, which I eventually ended up selling on eBay. But this day and age, my Star Wars collection isn't that deep. This is probably most of it, really. I don't think I have much stored. Sports. Been into sports for a long time. In particular, Boston sports. So there you see a old school starting lineup, Larry Bird headline collection. So I was a big Boston fan, but I was also a David Robinson San Antonio Spurs fan. I actually have most of his starting lineups opened, and I also have most of them carded. And then I was a huge Barry Sanders fan, so I have most of his starting lineups. Those are carded. Then more recently, the Marvel Universe. You know, it's funny because when it came out, when I heard about it, I was definitely excited. But it was a big change from the Marvel Legends line. It was kind of cool because I grew up on G.I. Joe and Star Wars, so to kind of have that, you know, that size figure in the Marvel Universe was definitely was cool. So I don't open many of them. These are probably the only ones I have carded, so not many. And then I have a bunch of the sets. And then here's some more old school Marvel figures. I need to open that one to just put it together with the display. Just opened up the Marvel Legends trench coat thing, so I figured I'd open that one up. And here's Daredevil when he officially, I think that was the first time they changed his threads all together. I think, you know, there was a yellow and black joint, and then the red, but this was the first time they had like it was kind of a big deal in comics. And these two guys, I used to when McFarlane Toys started making Spawn, and then kind of was doing some of the action figures for the other Image comic books. So these are two of my favorite ones that I actually ended up getting them real cheap in New Hampshire a few years ago, like $3.99. I'll open them eventually. Going back to the second shelf here, you know, Bostonian, so I was extremely excited when we won the Stanley Cup. I never thought I'd see the day that happens. So I got my Tim Thomas with the Stanley Cup. I also have an extensive collection of mostly Boston McFarlane Sports Picks. I want to say 90% of anything that was released that was Boston related. I have nowhere to put them. They're all carded, so they're all boxed away. Roberto Clemente. Being Puerto Rican, he somebody I grew up admiring. He was gone by the time I realized the impact that he had on our Puerto Rican people in baseball and in general. But it was really cool to see this on the shelves, and I grabbed it right away. But 3,000 hits. He actually passed away right after the season when he got his 3,000th hit. I think Nicaragua. There was an earthquake in Nicaragua, and he actually the plane. He was sending goods to Nicaragua, and I guess the what he was sending was not arriving, so he decided to take the plane just to see what was happening, and the plane crashed, and there went that. Then I have G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was kind of big for me, man. G.I. Joe was kind of that action figure that had articulation, so you can do a lot in terms of posing them and playing with them. And I also have a pretty big 25th anniversary collection, a bunch carded, again, in storage. I have no walls to put it on, but here's some of the vehicles and some of the collection for G.I. Joe. I really like, one of my favorite characters was Alpine. He's back there somewhere. There he is. I don't think he got a single release, so he got a release in this this set. So it's kind of cool. Cobra Commander with the glider, and Duke with the jetpack. This was actually one of the intros to an episode, or was the intro for a while for the cartoon. So it was kind of cool to see it action figure mode. Here's an older G.I. Joe. Man, I want to say from '89, I think. I don't remember. So yeah, so pretty much this is, oh, and I'm sorry, Star Wars, some Star Wars, right where we keep the liquor. Again, this is probably it for Star Wars. I don't have much. Transformers, another, huge Transformer fan. So every once in a while, I don't grab every single line or whatever. I just, whatever I like, I guess. Grabbed this I grabbed this Grimlock a week ago or so. Definitely amped up about it. I'm not gonna open it up yet. Eventually I will. Same thing with the Ryu. Not a huge Street Fighter fan, but definitely respect the franchise, and this action figure looked amazing. It's by Play Arts, and I didn't have a Play Arts action figure, so it was cool to have. You can see a Ted Williams, another Boston legend. Last hitter to hit 400 for average in the major leagues, I believe. Maybe it was Yastrzemski. I don't know. So here's, let me back up, kind of an idea of the pantry. Oh, and then I kind of collect sneakers too. So the part of my collection here.